Hello everybody. Did you miss us? Did you miss us? Oh, Castle. There he is. Plug that out later. So, oh. I know, come here. What's all that? Oh, he stepped in something. It's casserole. He was all wound up earlier, and now he's all tuckered out. He had a big couple of days. All right, get comfortable, everyone. I'll be back in a second. We'll do update. Hey, buddy. All right. Hello, everybody. This is P.A.Roo right here. Pants-a-roo. Bunny's running around like a wild woman, and Bartlett is right behind the camera. And of course, this is the casserole. So, is everybody here? Oh, you know what I should do quick is let me just post on the Twitter. You can watch the casserole, and I'll just let everyone know on the Twitter, and we'll get started. Alright, there we go. Excellent. Are we still here? Hello. Oh, so handsome. Oh, that bunny found your hex bug. We received... Oh, where's that? That bunny is stealing... Oh, she just took his hex bug to her lair. Don't worry, I'll get it back for you. Did not play. We will play with hex bug later. So, okay, let's get this started. Oh, are you gonna play with hex bug? It's pretty neat. All right, so as many of you know, probably, we have just gotten back from a trip out to North Carolina, which is all the way on the other side of the continent. We went to NC State Veterinary College to meet with Dr. Marcellin Little, who is probably the world's foremost expert in osseointegrated implants and transgenic implants, and basically the thing that Cassidy needs to be able to... What? What? Do you have to go potty? We'll just see what he's after. So we went. So we've been having weekly conference calls with Dr. Marcellin Little and Dr. Ferguson and myself and Cassidy, and we've been doing that since probably November, maybe. Actually, I could tell you. It's been a while. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was the first week in November is when we started having calls with him. There we go. And so we wanted to talk to someone who had some sort of experience with Cassidy's sort of injury and find out if there's anything we could be doing differently or anything that we should do, and if he was potentially a candidate to get transdermal implants, which basically are an implant that will go into his bone and then come out through the end of his stump and be able to have an attachment on the end that will be like a foot or like a lower limb, basically to complete his leg. You guys have probably seen Oscar, the bionic cat, or more recently Vincent, the cat who they both have had sort of similar procedures done. And so Dr. Marcellin Little has been working on developing this field for quite some time. He's done many cases, not exactly like Cassidy's, but similar to Cassidy's in both dogs and cats. And the technology that he's working on has applications not only for companion animals, but also for humans. So I think the research he's doing is really incredible and has the potential to impact many humans and animals, which is really cool. So we decided that we decided probably about a month ago, maybe right before Christmas, we decided that we would like to bring him out so that Dr. Marcel Little could examine him in person, and so that we could do a CT scan and build this really cool 3D model so that we could get a really good idea of what was going on with his stumps. And so that's what we were basically doing over the last couple of days. Was we had a really great appointment on Monday with Dr. Marcel Little, and he checked Cassidy out and did all sorts of little tests to see how his stumps are, and if one's better than the other, or if there's any reason that if there's anything we need to watch out for. And so and then we did, of course, the CT scan. And you guys, I did post on Facebook an iPhone photo of one of the angles of the 3D model that Dr. Ferguson took. It was really cool, but it's neat because it identifies things that you can't just identify from feeling and from doing an exam that way. So, for example, if you look at that, you'll notice that his kneecaps are not where they should be. They're much higher than where they should be. And there's a slight amount of unusual hip subluxation, which was a new discovery, which just means that his hip joint is not resting within the socket in the way that it normally would. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And then we were able to take some measurements and things like that. So I'm trying to think of what else we did. And then so after we did all that, then Dr. Marcel Little and the team sort of looked at the results, and we talked about what it all meant. And he was very kind and generous with his time. He spent about 4 hours with us and answered all of my burning questions, which were not all super intelligent questions, but he still answered them nonetheless, which was good. So basically, I have been doing physical therapy with Cassidy for the last, it's been since September, when he first started to lose the ability to flex his knees. And we don't really know why that happened, but it happened very quickly. And so I've been doing physical therapy with him since that happened, to try to get his knees working again. And you can sort of see right now he walks from his hip joints, and he's not using his knees at all. And so that's one of the things that needs to be addressed before we can do implants. Good job, buddy. So that's what I've been spending hours and hours and hours every single day trying to basically stretch his muscles, because it's primarily a muscular problem, we think. So I can, I have to basically they start out pretty stiff, and then I have to basically stretch them so that his knees are flexing to some degree. They're normally at a hyperextended angle, between maybe 30 and 45 degrees hyperextended. At like right now, you can see this is about 45 degrees hyperextended. That's just his resting angle. So one of the questions was, is the physical therapy helping at all? Do we need to continue? Is there still hope that his knees, that he may start to voluntarily flex his knees? And of course, none of us really knows the answer because this is such an unusual case, but the physical therapy is at least preventing him from getting much worse. And it definitely allows him to flex the joint. It's just, he just doesn't voluntarily flex the joint, and so we don't really know why that is, if it's just he chooses not to, or we don't know. So I see a question about why can't he stay like this? He seems pretty happy. He definitely is happy, and he gets around pretty well just by scooting. But there are some long-term problems that we anticipate if we just leave him like this. And one of those is that he has been developing sores on his stumps from doing so much scooting. So, and those sores then are high risk of getting infected. So probably over his lifetime, we would always be fighting one infection or another. We don't know what will happen once he's bigger, and it's something that we would always have to be on the lookout for. We also don't know long-term if he would develop arthritis in his joints, or if the stress of scooting, which is he does in a very unnatural position, what effect does that have on his spine? What effect does that have on his ability to go to the bathroom? Are his front legs going to get arthritis from the basically doing the work of four legs? These are all things that we don't know. And then having his knees permanently hyperextended like that, as he gets bigger, what kind of pain or discomfort is that going to cause? So it's a lot of unknowns, and so certainly one option is to leave him as is and then just deal with those things as they come. We just don't know, and it's hard with cats to tell kind of what their pain level is, and to manage that and make sure that we're managing all of that effectively. So that's kind of it's definitely one of the options, leaving him as is, but knowing that that will require probably some sort of surgery down the line, and possibly long-term pain management, and possibly long-term sores and infection control, and he won't have the same mobility. He'll have this is the best mobility he'll ever have. And while he does get around pretty well, his body wasn't designed to move that way, and so there will be wear and tear on it, undoubtedly. And it would be a lot nicer. His quality of life would be greatly improved if he could walk like he was intended to walk. So these are all questions that me and the whole team, Dr. Ferguson and Dr. Marcel Little and the whole team of supporting people, were all considering these things very, very carefully and very thoughtfully to try to make sure that whatever decision we make is made with Cassidy's best interest at heart, and will have the best possible chance at giving him the best quality of life he could ever have. So hopefully that answers your question. He missed Uncle Barty. His cricket woke me up many times, and then around like 4 or 5 in the morning, I confiscated it and put it under my pillow. Where did Uncle Barty go? Did you make Uncle Barty run away? So anyway, so that's the very long-winded answer to that question. This is not an area where there is other information that we can look at. There aren't other cases like Cassidy's that have been documented. There's just there's no information about what to do in this situation. So we're in uncharted territory and we're making the best decisions we can with the information we have. And that's part of the reason that I think the research that Dr. Marcellin Little is doing is so important, is because there are other animals with Cassidy's condition or similar to his condition, and there is not a lot of information about what to do about it, and there aren't a lot of vets who have experience with this sort of thing. So the more we can learn about it, the better for everyone. There's no way to know 100% what happened to his stumps. Where are you going? But they do appear to be the result of some sort of trauma, and they do not appear to be congenital. Oh, it's beverage time. Let me refill your water for you. That's good. Hydrate after your long trip. Pantsaroo can entertain us with his very long arms. He has exceptionally long arms. He likes to think. Casserole's hydrating after his big trip. So, nobody asked us for a potograph. No, we were trying to be pretty on the down low with him on the plane, just because the chance of someone on the plane being allergic or not liking cats or whatever was always high, so we didn't want to make a big deal about it. So anyway, we had our big meeting, and oh, look who it is. It's your pal, Pantsaroo. So we had our big meeting and talked about things, and then kind of next steps and what the options are, which I know is what everyone wants to know. Basically, the decision at this point is to continue with the physical therapy for another 3 months and see where we are at that point. He needs to be able to voluntarily flex his knees in order for us to do the implant that would give him the best quality of life, which is the one which would be him having a knee and basically implanting into his tibia, which is the bone below his knee. That would give him a very natural gait and would be pretty much like having real legs back there. So that's why I've been working so hard to save his knees, because it's a much better option than kind of the next best option. So 3 more months of physical therapy, and at some point I have to see him flexing his knees on his own, rather than just me stretching him and forcing them to flex. So that is a big unknown, whether that will happen or not. There's no way to know at this point whether that's possible or whether it's just, an exercise in futility. But no one was ready to give up on it yet. So he was thinking there's maybe a 25% chance of one or both knees becoming functional again. So it's better than a 0% chance, but it's not, you know, we're still working against the odds. So that's the plan for the next 3 months. We are investigating some other sort of out of the box treatments to see if we could have a more of an impact on his muscle development and try to get his knees working. So we should have more information on that in a couple of weeks on whether there might be a few other options to assist with the physical therapy. Well, one thing, there's only one thing that we're looking into, but it's something that, again, doesn't have a lot of documentation. It's something that's used in human children in certain cases, and so we need to figure out, sort of what the dosage would be, how it would be administered, all of that stuff, and make sure that it's safe, of course. So that's sort of one thing that may or may not help, but again, we just don't know. So, and of course, we're only going to do it if it's safe for the casserole. So other than that, what the next 3 months are going to be is more physical therapy. I'm going to try to do more frequent sessions that are not as long. Instead of doing, I've been trying to do 2 longer sessions and to get him to stay in his splints for long periods of time, but now we're thinking maybe trying to encourage more mobility along with the stretching may be beneficial. So look at that, he's jumping. He gets a little air when he jumps. And I'm also going to be trying to put him through different sort of like a course, like an obstacle course, to try to see if there's anything that I can possibly do that I haven't already tried that would encourage him to flex his knees on his own. So I have been trying that, and I have not noticed anything. If you look at all of the videos of him, you won't see him flexing his knee voluntarily. And flexing means bending it the proper way, not making it hyperextend. And Dr. Marcellin Little this is not his first rodeo with this sort of thing. It is not a case that he has had before, like exactly like this, but he out of everyone in the world knows the most about this and about what options might work and what might not work. And so we are trying to think outside the box on some things that may work for him, and then figure out if they're safe. But we do have the full power of the North Carolina State Veterinary College, some really, really smart people behind us. So if there is another idea or something like that, we will figure that out. But at this point, physical therapy is going to continue for 3 glorious more months. So yeah, so it's not just, it's not a matter of just sitting down and deciding to, like, I'll show you, this will probably demonstrate the problem. It's not just a matter of, me spending the time. Like, I can spend all the time in the world with him and he's a 6-month-old kitten, so right now his priority is not stretching, right? So, hey buddy, he's like, I went on your trip, I went on an airplane, and now you're gonna make me sit still and do stretching? But so you see it's he doesn't want to sit still and stretch, so it's a whole process that's required to get him to sit still long enough to actually do good stretching. And he is not afraid to express his feelings about it. And that's just because he just wants to go play. He doesn't want to be held and stretched right now. It's not because it's hurting him. It's that same stubbornness that helped him survive is now working against us. So when I say I'm spending hours, a lot of it is not productive stretching time because I have to work sort of with his moods and, you know, give him little play breaks if he gets frustrated, and so it's a lot more time involved than just the actual stretching that gets done, because that's, you know, it would be easy to do if I could just tell him to just, you know, lay still and it would be over a lot faster. But he has other plans. So he did platypus everybody, and but he did incredibly well, considering that he is a feral kitten, former feral kitten, and ooh, that was a good one. Wow. And that he was in an airplane for like 15 hours, and then, you know, in airports, and it was noisy, and then he was in an unfamiliar hotel room, and then he was surrounded by strangers again, and then he, you know, had anesthesia, and then it was like it's a lot for a feral kitten to handle, and then another day of travel and airplanes and driving, and none of those things are his favorite. But he did very well, and he's doing really well. He was super happy to be home. He did not poop the whole time, so on his CT scan we have forever memorialized his a lot of poop. I think he pooped this morning. I haven't checked yet, but he was very well behaved. Very good boy. Yeah, so plan B, if we can't get his knees working, we have really two options. And one is to sort of leave them as is and just try to deal with all of the issues as they arise. And oh, get it. Look at you are wound up. And then the other option is to do the implants directly into his femurs, which is what Vincent the cat, if you look up Vincent the cat, that's what they did with him, because his knees were also hyperextended like Cassidy's. And so they then basically amputated above the knee and implanted into the femur. So we are trying everything we can to avoid that, because that obviously gives him a much less natural gait. But it gives him still a more natural gait than what he has now. So at that point, the decisions will become a great deal more difficult, because there are so many unknowns, and we want to make sure that we're not going to put him through surgery for something that's going to change change his life only a little bit. We want to make sure that what we're doing will have a dramatic effect on his quality of life, and we know that if we can save the knees, that it would dramatically improve his quality of life. We think that it would improve his quality of life at this point if we had to go into the femur, but we need to look into it some more and do some more kind of work on that option. So we're really trying to save the knees over the next 3 months. So it's a kind of a, I don't know, I have had my heart set on his knees working and the implants going into his tibia since the beginning. So that is really what I want to have happen, but it may not be possible. And so I honestly don't know what we would do at that point. So it's too early to say. We'll have to evaluate where he is and how he's doing and all of that stuff before we would make a decision on that. But we talked with Dr. Marcel and Little at great length about how all of us were committed to doing what is best for Cassidy. So he has stressed to us many times that he is not seeing Cassidy because he wants to do another surgery, but because he wants to help Cassidy. And so he's not going to do implants into the femurs if he doesn't think that is the best option for Cassidy, for his quality of life. So So the kneecaps being in the wrong place seems to be a function of him just being hyperextended all the time. We don't know if they would go back into place if he regained function of his knees. We just don't know. But we did talk also at great length about doing knee replacement, even putting one of my dumb questions was if you could just put in a backwards knee joint or an ankle joint where his current knee is, and then he could use his tibia as a foot. But there is a lot more to it than that, so that's not really an option. You still have to get the joint functioning on its own, or you can replace the joint. Isn't the problem, it's the muscles and the underlying tendons and the way he uses them that's the problem. So if we were to replace the joint, we would be replacing a fairly good joint with something that was artificial, and then we would still have the same problem at the end. So that's not really a good option for us at this point either. So we did get a lot of the questions answered that we had, and which is really great. And so I think all of us have a better understanding of where we are and what needs to happen next. And we ran into Dr. Marcel and Little the next day or yesterday before we left. And he gave us a tour of the whole, excuse me, of the whole vet campus, the college. It's amazing. They have incredible equipment. They have, the way they do surgery is so cool, and they have all of the best of everything. And so it would be a really great place to have surgery done. We're super confident in the people there and the work they're doing. And so, and yes, everyone loved him. And by the end, he was not giving Dr. ML a platypus, which Dr. ML was very pleased about. They were all so nice and so helpful and willing to answer questions. We were I think it's pretty rare that you find someone who's so brilliant but is also able to communicate and willing to take the time to kind of work with the people side of things. Where are you going, buddy? Oh, he's gonna have some water. So anyway, that's kind of the update. That's where we are now, is more physical therapy for another 3 months, and then hoping that that I can find a way to get him to voluntarily flex his knees, and we're going to continue to have our weekly conference calls with Dr. Marcel and Little, and we'll just adjust as we need to, like we've been doing. Yes, age and growth are definitely a factor. So right now he's still growing, and there's a lot happening with his body, and that will start to slow down over the next 3 months for sure. And so that certainly could have an effect on his knee function. We just don't know. And yeah. Oh, what's that? But you can see, I wanted everyone to see that he survived his big adventure, and he did great, and he's happy, and he did not love every moment of it, but he was quite a little trooper. So I was very proud of him. Adoption updates, yes. Everyone has been matched with someone. We have some logistics to work out and that sort of thing, so I have not had time to do anything. And it's going to be another very busy week, so I'll do my best to get stuff going on that. I did hear from Holly's people. She's doing great. It took her a couple of days to settle in, but she has now met her friend cat, and they said she only growled once, and then they started playing together, so things are going really well there. She is working on a Facebook page. I have not gotten it yet, so hopefully that will happen at some point. Yes, Microfloof and Elfie are going home together, and Joy got a really great home, and everyone actually got really, really great homes, so I'm very happy about it. And I hear it was an exciting couple of days over with the Farrells and everybody. Nikki has is still having his bladder problems, but should hopefully be feeling better soon. Oh, do you want, what if you're hex bug? Maybe an appearance. You know how much I love having wires everywhere. Cords. Look, what's this? That was one of the things that was in our awesome gift bag from, I don't know who it was from, but it was very thoughtful. So thank you to whoever dropped off that amazing gift bag for us at NC State. There was a fish bed for Cassidy and this hex bug and a bunch of toys and treats. treats for the humans and a really adorable card. That was super awesome. So Nicholas and Noelle we tested for UTIs. They actually the cultures came back negative, which means that they don't have infections. Oh, that's gonna get you. But Nicholas has crystals in his. No, wait, sorry. Noelle had crystals in her pee, but because she doesn't have an infection, it's just something that it's not actually something super unusual, and it's not anything that really needs to be treated. So that's kind of something that's not unusual. Uh-oh. What else? It got you. Look at he has such good core strength. Oh, it's gonna get ya. I will post this below, don't worry. Raven and Pansy, I'm gonna talk to the crew, and I asked before I left. I think we all are on the same page with Raven and Pansy. I think they need to go back to the forest. They're certainly not enjoying their time in captivity. I wanted them to have at least a week to recover after their spays. And so they were spayed on Thursday. Today's Wednesday. So I haven't been over there yet, so I'm going to go over and I need to do meds, and I'll see how everyone's doing. It depends on how their spay incisions are looking, whether they would go back today or tomorrow or in the next couple of days. So Satine is doing great, and Satine and Inara are showing great potential. So we're gonna keep them as long as they are happy being kept and see what happens. Cassidy slept in the bed with me most of the time, but I had to build a little like tower for him to get onto the beds, because you know how hotel beds are so tall. So I had to like make him ramps and things so that he could get up and down, because what he was doing, even when I did that the first night, he would jump off the bed and do whatever, and then he would just come over to where I was sleeping and look up at me and meow until I woke up and picked him up, because he didn't want to take the ramp. So there was not a lot of sleep that happened, for sure. So I think both Dr. Ferguson and I have quite a bit of sleep to catch up on. It was pretty intense couple of days, but very worthwhile. So I think that's about it. Now I've got to get over to the other side. I'm sure poor Gwen is exhausted after all the excitement of the last couple of days. So I'm gonna get over there and do meds and catch up on everything, and so I think that's it. So thanks for tuning in. I will post this below so that anyone can watch it who missed it the first time around. Where's Hexbug going? The Hexbug has places to be. Look, cliffhanger, will Cassidy get the Hexbug, or will the Hexbug get Cassidy? Or will Cassidy get distracted by some floor fluff? All right, goodbye everybody.